Hello, and welcome to another Crack-A-Pack. Today, I thought we could try changing up the format, and we're probably pretty familiar with the commons by now, so maybe skipping ahead to the uncommons and rare before making our pack 1 pick 1. And although your pack 1 pick 1 doesn't necessarily dictate anything about what you might end up in at the end of pack 1, I thought it still might be an interesting thought exercise to look through the first picks from packs 2 and 3 as well. Let's get started. Errand Rider of Gondor, Galadrim Guide, Cirith Ungol Patrol, Took Reaper, Bewitching Leechcraft, Inherited Envelope, Eastfarthing Farmer, Quarrel's End, Rohirrim Lancer, Improvised Club, The Mouth of Sauron, 3 blue black for a 3/4 legendary creature, human advisor, uncommon. When the Mouth of Sauron enters the battlefield, target player mills 3 cards. Then amass orcs X, where X is the number of instant and sorcery cards in that player's graveyard. Grishnok Brash Instigator, 2 red for a 1/1 legendary creature, Goblin Soldier, uncommon. When Grishnok Brash Instigator enters the battlefield, amass orcs 2. When you do, until end of turn, gain control of target non-legendary creature an opponent controls with power less than or equal to the amassed army's power. Untap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. Stern Scolding, blue for an instant, uncommon. Counter target creature spell with power or toughness 2 or less. There and back again. 3 red for an enchantment, saga, rare. Chapter 1, Up to one target creature can't block for as long as you control there and back again. The ring tempts you. Chapter 2. Search your library for a mountain card. Put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. Chapter 3. Create Smog, a legendary 6/6 red dragon creature token with flying, haste, and when this creature dies, create 14 treasure tokens. We have a mountain and an orc army token. I think personally I would probably just snap off there and back again. I think this card is pretty powerful and probably better than anything else in the pack. There is a lot of red in this pack that we would be passing, which is a little bit concerning, but I would probably still first pick this. The large flying dragon at the end puts you at a significant advantage, and then even if they're able to kill it, you're so far ahead on mana at that point. I think this is a worthy pick, but I am curious to hear from you. Here's one more look before we move on to pack 2. Alright, so here is our second pack, and as a reminder, our first pick from pack 1. Brandywine Farmer. The Black Breath. Lash of the Balrog. Shower of Arrows. Captain of Umbar. Orcish Medicine. Protector of Gondor. Haradrim Spearmaster. Dunedain Blade. Shadow Summoning. Friendly Rivalry. Red, green, for an instant, uncommon. Target creature you control and up to one other target legendary creature you control each deal damage equal to their power to target creature you don't control. Faramir Field Commander. 3 white for a 3/3. Legendary creature. Human soldier. Uncommon. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control this turn, draw a card. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you choose a creature other than Faramir Field Commander as your ring bearer, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. We have a borderless, the Shire. Legendary land, rare. The Shire enters the battlefield tapped unless you control a legendary creature. Tap, add green. 1 green tap. Tap an untapped creature you control. Create a food token. Lost to Legend. White, white, for an instant, uncommon. Put target non-land historic permanent into its owner's library, 4th from the top. A mountain, and an orc army token. So, not a lot in red to pair with our first pick, assuming we ended up in red at all in pack 1. So, might not be going there, but we do have Lash of the Balrog, which is pretty decent removal spell. I don't think shadow summoning is too bad either, although it is 2 colors, so that's kind of tough to want to take, unless we are in those colors for sure. But I think overall, Lash of the Balrog is going to be a better pick. And then the rest of this pack is pretty tough. I don't really think there's anything for us in here. So let's move on to pack 3. Elven Farsight. Nasty End. Fog on the Barrow Downs. Bombadil's Song. Shire Scarecrow. Slip on the Ring. Hithlane Knots. Breaking of the Fellowship. Relentless Rohirrim. Hobbit's Sting. Gift of Strands. 3 green for an enchantment, uncommon. Flash. Enchant creature. When Gift of Strands enters the battlefield, scry 2. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3. Gandalf, Friend of the Shire. 3 blue for a 2/4. Legendary creature, Avatar Wizard, uncommon. Flash. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Whenever the ring tempts you, if you chose a creature other than Gandalf, Friend of the Shire, as your ring bearer, draw a card. Long List of the Ents. Green for an enchantment, saga, uncommon. Chapters 1 through 6. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted for Long List of the Ents. When you cast your next creature spell of that type this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Sauron's Ransom. 1 blue black for an instant, rare. Choose an opponent. They look at the top 4 cards of your library and separate them into a face-down pile and a face-up pile. Put one pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. The ring tempts you. An island, and a spirit token. Alright. So these are our options if we're staying in red and black. Definitely not that excited to first pick any of these. This card is part black. But I don't really know about this one. I guess it technically draws you some cards, but I don't put too much faith in cards like this in Limited. I am actually kind of interested in Gandalf, and I actually think he could pair pretty well with either of our colors. If we are indeed red-black, we could try to splash blue. Otherwise, I think red-blue is a good pairing, as well as black-blue. So, without any of the other information about the 28 other cards that we've drafted aside from these two, it's kind of hard to say what we might really be looking at, but I think Gandalf is a solid choice. So, yeah, that would be my pick, and that would conclude our 3 pick ones from packs 1, 2, and 3. Let me know what you thought of this style of Crack-A-Pack, and whether you enjoyed it. I'd be happy to do something like this again for sure, especially later in the format once we're pretty familiar with all the cards. And yeah, please make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. I put out new Magic the Gathering ASMR videos every Monday and Friday. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day.